see, in the 19th century, this border was problematic, and there was, two lines made. One was made by something called Johnson Line. Johnson was a functionary of the Maharaja, a governor of Ladakh at that time, and he decided on a mountain range called Kundun Range as that will be the border. And there were also British bureaucrats who were in the Chinese side, who were based in China. They were MacDonald and Macartney. They made their own line. They said Karakoram range will be. So between the British bureaucrats, both of them, one working in Indian side, one working in Chinese side, made two different lines in about the same period, later half of the 19th century. So one is called Johnson, one is called MacDonald-Macartney line. These lines were the way it is. In 1914, 1915, there was a conference held in Shimla to decide the border between India and Tibet. But that time Tibet existed here, and the Chinese representative was present there. Though he refused to be party to the thing. And there was a kind of a border, McMahon line was signed between the Tibetans and the Indians. British government in Shimla. McMahon line is only in Arunachal Pradesh, that area, which goes on peak to peak. But the line was such a broad line marked on a map that it was not a valid way, not the right way of marking lines. So, when we got independence, there was this confusion of which is the border, the Johnson line, the Macartney line. So it took us some time to validate issues, and we came across to the line that we have later on said, which is our map. The map shows a border is based on Johnson line in Ladakh, and of course McMahon line based in Arunachal Pradesh. The Chinese came up with a unilateral line on its own in 1959. Why? What logic, what thought process, what history, nobody knows. So they came up with a line called 1959 line, which came up as part of a letter which was sent by Chou Enlai to President, Prime Minister Nehru. Now, if you follow that line in Ladakh, it gives an impression. See, Ladakh is a very peculiar area. There are mountain ranges, very high mountain ranges, and then there is a plateau. The plateau is what is Tibetan plateau. So on our side, there are very high mountain ranges. So we have taken Johnson line, which includes the Aksai-Chin plateau, the entire area, as part of us. Chinese in the 59 line had pushed us away from the plateau and dropped us down the mountain range. So when they say Burtse is ours, Burtse is below the mountain range. So they say, okay, you have no truck on the plateau, which they feel is Tibetan plateau, or now that area is under Xinjiang. Having said that, now that's the geography. The strategic geography is such that there is a differentiation in what we say and what the Chinese say. So strategic geography is the first problem here. Chinese do not want us to come to that area. So if I read into what the Chinese have done in the course of 3 years, they have actually denied us patrolling. See, this salami slicing is lesser of a territory issue, more of a patrolling issue, because the border was not decided. We were just dominating up to a line which we envisioned to be line of actual control, not Johnson line, only line of actual control. So we were patrolling. They were patrolling to their line. Now they have occupied a piece of ground, or this 800 odd kilometers, in which they have denied us patrolling to our line, which is based on that plateau, on Aksai-Chin or Depsang plateau, as we call it. There is, they are pushing us away from that plateau. That is apparent in the way they have done that. So, having this is not, of course, it's unilateral. Of course, it is not any legality. There is no lawfare about it. It's all illegal. It is just you decide this is my line and you sort it out. Then that's a issue out here. Now, what are we doing? We are not expansionist by nature, by nation. We are largely status quo country in such matters. So we have taken a call on this, and we said, okay, we will protect our border. Now we are protecting it. We are protecting it in a manner that we deny any more of this so-called salami slicing, even if it is on a line of actual control of denying us patrolling. So we have now, before 2020, it is possible that the discussions that taken place from 1988 when Rajiv Gandhi visited thing, उससे पहले भी 1982 से एक joint working group was sitting there. So, last 20-30 years, there was an attempt to bring about some kind of a rapprochement. It wasn't moving forward on the border, but there was an attempt to say, okay, yeah, cool down. Let's cool down issues. Let's amicably decide politically, diplomatically. So it was happening that manner. So we were not deployed on the border because lest some issues take place and something unprecedented happens. However, after 2020, we have said, okay, nothing doing. Now we are deployed. So now we are there and we are there as we ought to be. It's as close as line of control with Pakistan is. So there is a transformation that's happened in last 2 years on how we are managing the border on the Chinese front than what existed prior to 2020.